Hey guys, Tarket here, and I want to do a quick build diary part 1 for my Barrage Poison Tarky 2 dots character. Now one little thing I want to say quickly is if I mumble over any words or generally seem a little bit disorientated, I just finished an 11-hour stream and recorded and uploaded a YouTube guide for my Earthquake Uber Lab Slayer, which you can check out on my channel. So, you know, I'm a pretty bit tired, ready to go to bed kind of thing when recording this, so bear with me. Now, what is Barrage? Why is it cool? Why do I like Poison? Why do I think this will work? Barrage is a bow skill which gives 3 additional projectiles. So you shoot some base projectiles, does some damage, cool, whatever. Now, Poison is a support gem, which, you know, and a mechanic. You hit something, it gets a poison thing on it. You hit them again, it gets another poison thing. It stacks up. It then suddenly starts doing crazy poison damage. Now, there are 3 ways that I can get poison in this build. I can use the poison support gem, which I'm only going to use for leveling. I'm going to drop this as soon as possible. As an assassin, you get some poison generation through Nox Strike. You get 40% chance to poison on hit against bleeding enemies. And also from Dirty Techniques, you have 25% chance to poison on hit against bleeding enemies. So I'll have 65% chance of poison just from Dirty Techniques and my ascendancy options. And another big reason why I want to do this is Toxic Delivery. Reduced damage taken from damage over time, whatever. 20% of fizz damage gained as extra chaos damage against bleeding enemies. You're always making enemies bleed. This is always active. This is really powerful. Poison you inflict with critical strikes deal 100% more damage. That's 100% more damage. That's a lot. Bleed again, 100% more damage. So 100% more damage on your bleeds and your poisons. You're naturally poisoning and bleeding everything. Barrage hits really rapidly. We have the Barrage Threshold Jewels called the Volley Fire. Volley Fire give you increased proj damage. Proj damage double dips, so it scales the initial hit and it scales the bleed and the poison, making it very powerful. The only drawback of the jewel is they take up a jewel slot, so you can't get life here, and they require 50 dex to activate. This one is very easy. You have 60 dex in the area. This one is slightly more troublesome. You get 3 dex here, then you get 20 dex through Acuity, or you need to route around the left side and put a wasted point here. I would rather do this so I don't have wasted points. The accuracy and attack speed is still okay, but it's not ideal. But the damage increase is huge because you get the additional 2 proj on the first and the final attack. So this gives me 4 projectiles, this gives me 4 projectiles. We have 4 projectiles base, that's 12 projectiles. That all stacks up poisons. We poison a lot. So we'll show you quickly the tree, and then I'm just going to jump over and smash Cruel Vol so you get an idea of how the build kind of works. Kind of come through, grab the life, grab the power charges, grab the pierce, because it's a pierce build. Pierce is a more multipliers than poison, kind of good. Drill Net gives us a bunch of extra proj damage. Proj damage, as already mentioned, is kind of good. I get Acro, but not Phase Acro, because this is going to be a lab farming character, and there aren't really any spells on lab that I'm afraid of, so I can save 4 points here. Come down, get the good bow crit stuff, get the good damage over time stuff, get the good life, grab life, grab life. Now I could potentially drop this package here, reroute this bottom bit, pick up range life. I could also potentially come up, grab this hybrid wheel, and grab this nice damage over time and regen wheel. Damage over time scaling is obviously good in a poison build. Regen scaling is obviously really good for a lab farming build. Basically, there are a few different things I can do with the tree, coming this way, coming this way, or coming this way. I will test all 3 versions, see which one I prefer, but it's going to look something kind of like this. So if you do want to do this build yourself, this is my tree. I will leave a link to it, but I will most likely change this tree in the coming days. So just take it with a pinch of salt, okay? Okay. Now, let's show it to you in action. We are leveling, we are only 52, we are using, you know, not the best gear in the world, but we dropped a TP earlier at Vol. We are 3 levels under the zone. I'm going to throw Vulner on him. And Barrage is just going to sort of do its thing. But also notice we only just got the power charges towards the end of the fight. He got spam knocked back like that thanks to King of the Hill. King of the Hill gives us a bunch of crit and knock back enemies if you get a crit with the bow. We're an assassin. Once we have the tree fully finished, if we are always critting, we use a bow. We always knock back. It's a very nice little defensive layer which you don't really notice. This build will be high evasion, it will be high dodge, it will have a decent life total once you factor in life jewel here, and I'm also going to run dual curse. I will use a Dodri's ring to activate the second curse. I'm not going to plan around having a +1 curse corruption because, I mean, come on, I'm not that rich or that lucky. My dual curse setup will be Enfeeble Vulnerability, Enfeeble to reduce getting one-shot. Evasion builds tend to run the risk of getting one-shot with Enfeeble, with dodge, with knockback, with life, with half a brain. Hopefully I still have one. Using a Basalt Flask and using one of 3 unique chests, I should be okay. Now, the Enfeeble will just reduce the damage, the Basalt will give me a nice chunk of mitigation, and I have the option of 3 unique chests. Since the life is kind of low, I can run a Belly of the Beast, and I would recommend running a Belly of the Beast if you can afford one for leveling. Getting that extra massive chunk of max life is really important, since you don't get that much access to life early on. Most of our life is either in Ranger, or over in Duelist, or over in Scion. We have the life, we get it near the end, which isn't really what you want. Normally you want to get the life early, you know, while you're in that nice bit of leveling, but whatever. So it acts as a nice chunk of survivability, gives a little bit of resistances, has a pretty good just base armor evasion roll. Cool. What are my other 2 options? Well, the other 2 options are obviously a Lightning Coil. Lightning Coil is the go-to item for all evasion builds. The problem with Lightning Coils is they're a little bit on the expensive side. They're currently going for about 3 to 4 Exalted Orbs, which is kind of a lot of currency when you're kind of broke. I'm kind of broke at the moment. So I have the budget option, which is Kintsugi. Now, I'm probably just going to stick with a Belly, but if I decide that I'd rather drop the Belly and run this, I can. This is like the maybe better than a Lightning Coil, maybe worse than Lightning Coil. I don't really know, in all honesty. It gives you the same amount of life, it gives you a decent chunk of evasion. Now, obviously, Lightning Coil is hybrid. But, you know, it's hybrid 590 versus, you know, just pure evasion. Pure evasion's pretty good on an evasion build. The armor gets cut in half anyway. It gives us positive fire res versus negative lightning. And 20% less damage taken if you haven't been hit recently, if you've not been hit recently. Recently means in the last 4 seconds. 20% less damage applies to everything. Spells, physical attacks, elemental attacks, just everything. Lightning Coil is only fizz damage as lightning. Now, this will be a lab character, and lab is mostly just fizz damage, so the Lightning Coil does have that going for it. But the Lightning Coil is a lot more expensive, and you need to gear around it. So you need the core cost of the Lightning Coil, and then the core cost of getting all of your gear and jewels changed to make up for the lightning resistances. All of that is pretty expensive. We also get 50% increased evasion if you have been hit recently. So if we haven't been hit, we take less damage. If we have been hit, we're less likely to get hit because of the evasion. We're a range build, we do good damage, we knock things back, we blink around, we shouldn't be getting hit at all. If we do get hit with Enfeeble, we're not going to get one shot. With this or with this, we're not going to get one shot. With Belly the Beast and having a good life cycle, we're not going to get one shot, is basically the point I'm trying to stress. We're not going to get one shot. Now, we have the option of using the Poison Support Gem, or 65% poison from the tree, which is a little on the low side for me, or we can run Snakebite Gloves. Snakebite Gloves give you a decent amount of evasion, a good amount of life, which is always important for uniques, no resists, which does make the Lightning Coil kind of bad, increased attack speed per frenzy charge, we got the frenzy charges on the tree, increased accuracy rating per frenzy charge, we got the frenzy charges on the tree, reduced frenzy charge duration per frenzy charge, kind of annoying, but not the worst thing in the world. We will be using Frenzy Curse on hit, so basically we start the fight, Frenzy up, if it looks like they're going to drop off, use Frenzy, we're fine. 1 maximum Frenzy charges attacks poison enemies. So these let us take poison off our main links, and we're not reliant on a 65% application chance. If for whatever reason we fluff our Frenzy charge generation, we still have the 65% chance from the tree, so we should be completely and utterly fine. Now, the other reason why I want to do this build, and this is also why nearly everyone on Twitch is playing bow builds, is Reach of the Council. Reach of the Council is OP. It has really good fizz damage, okay crit, but as an assassin we can make any crit value work, and it has good attack speed, but most importantly, 4 additional arrows. Now, with Barrage, with Volley Fire, let me just quickly jump into the game and remind you how it all looks, we fire a lot of additional projectiles. Having 4 extra additional projectiles is kind of good, because that's just more poison, it's just more damage. It's just more nice things. And it has really, really nice top end, and we get loads of fizz converted to chaos. It's just like really, really solid thanks to our assassin and our tree. Now this is also kind of expensive. It has the lightning kill problem. It's really good, but it's really expensive. These are like 4 or 5 exalts. Well, Prophecy's helped us out thanks to the Death's Harp and the upgraded Death's Harp. Now most crit builds have been doing the whole I'm going to pick up a Death's Harp at 32 and I'm going to run it as my budget bow into maps until I can afford to buy an actual like good rare bow. Well, they've given us the upgraded Death's Opus, which is a fated Death's Harp bow, which gives us plus two additional arrows. This obviously works very nicely with poison. Has a whole bunch of global crit multi on here, which is obviously pretty nice and makes up for the low base fizz. Has a really good crit chance. Basically, you pick up one of these at level 44, you never take it off unless you pick up an insane rare for cheaps, and then when you can afford it, you go into the reach of the council. So one thing I do really like about this build is we have the options of, have I got any currency at the moment? Yes, we buy our best in slot. No, we just buy these cheap alternatives, which kind of do half of the effect. You know, this does half of the effect we want of this. This does half the effect we want of this. I really like that. It's just, it seems nice having those natural stepping stones when it comes to progression. So, yeah. That's basically the build. Poison, bleed, barrage, dual cast, dodging things. Tired. I could keep rambling, but in all honesty, you know, I don't really want to waste either one of us times, and I really want to go to bed. I will be updating these build diaries as the character grows. It is, again, only level 52. We're only in Cruel. I haven't got all my ascendancy points. It's working really nicely as is. But yeah, you'll basically be able to do the budget version of this build, which, and by budget version I mean 2 volley fire jewels, a Death's Opus, and a drill neck. You can get that package for about 10 chaos. You're then looking at another like 10 to 20 chaos for either a belly or a Kintsugi chest. So you're looking at maybe 20 chaos, maybe 30 chaos when you buy the, you know, 5-link thing. So that's like your core package. You can very easily get that core package just while leveling. There aren't really any other required uniques. A Dodri's sure for the dual cast, but that can come a bit later. And those aren't really that expensive either. So yeah. I will leave a link to my profile down below, and I'll also leave a link to my stream. But I'm Tarky. I need to go to bed, and hopefully Tarky do dots, 2 dots. We'll be back again tomorrow with some more updates. Have a good night. Bye bye.